The video serves best during lunch, dinner, before bedtime, or when you need something in the background while working or studying. After Season 1, we learn about Gojo Satoru's Shibuya plan and the special grade Cursed Spirit group aiming to capture Gojo Satoru. Everyone knows how powerful he is, but in the past, Gojo suffered a bitter defeat that changed his life forever. The entire story will be in the video, Battle of the Shamans, The Secrets of Gojo's Past. The story begins with a spiritual incident at the mansion of a beef business family. Due to financial troubles, this family reset their lives, and since then, their house has been entangled in supernatural curses, causing anyone who enters to disappear without a trace. The unrest grows, and Yutaheim and Mei Mei are sent to resolve it. After investigating separately, they realize that the house is actually a boundary. No matter where they go, they end up at a fixed point. However, this boundary is not stable, it is actually interconnected, so they just need to flash towards both ends in any way, and the boundary will self-destruct. Indeed, it was broken by this young man, Gojo Satoru. Upon meeting the older sister, this boy sarcastically remarks that she is weak, so next time, she should activate the locator to make it easier to rescue. Too bitter about the junior, Yutaheim almost got swallowed by a cursed spirit, but was saved by another junior brother, Geto Suguru, who is in the same class as Gojo. The companion of these two young men is Shoko. Everything is resolved, but Mei Mei feels something is off. It seems that they haven't activated the curtain, and that's how the haunted mansion incident goes on air. Master Yaga, the class supervisor, after questioning the students about the incident, reveals that Gojo forgot to activate the curtain and immediately gives him a punch to teach him a lesson for being careless. After being hit, Gojo is quite upset because whether there is a curtain or not, non-sorcerers still cannot see anything. Why bother making a curtain if it's a waste of effort? Seeing his friend annoyed, Geto immediately reminds him that the curtain is not only created to blind outsiders but also to reassure the people's hearts. Feeling lectured, Gojo showed his displeasure. Amidst the tension, Master Yaga abruptly interjected, ordering his two students to gather their supplies and prepare for a new mission. Their mission was to protect and then exorcise a girl named Riko Amanai, a chosen, star plasma vessel. According to Master Yaga, star plasma vessels are individuals with the potential to be compatible with Tengen-sama, a critically important figure in the sorcerer world. He possesses the power of immortality, but once every 500 years, Tengen-sama must assimilate with a star plasma vessel, or his body will evolve into an unconscious life form. At that time, the great disaster will strike. Gojo and Geto must protect Riko from two forces that want to prevent the assimilation, the Q organization, composed of dangerous sorcerers, and the Star Religious Group, composed of fanatics of Tengen-sama. While on their way to pick up Riko, they discovered a large explosion. Hidden in the black smoke was Riko, the person they were looking for. As soon as he discovered the incident, Geto summoned a cursed spirit to catch her in time. The identity of the attacker was a curse user belonging to the Q organization. It looked dangerous, but the more dangerous they seemed, the easier they were to defeat, and this guy was no exception. Unable to defeat Geto, he turned to beg to get out of this business, promising to quit his job and retire. Seeing that Geto seemed uninterested in his words, he changed his tone and threatened that once the #1 assassin of the Q organization arrived, he would not spare them even if they begged. He talked a big game, but when he saw the message Gojo sent to Geto, he was speechless. Gojo had previously clashed with the top guy, and the outcome of the battle was no surprise. After the top one of the Q organization was defeated, the organization disbanded as well. Observing the battle from afar, Sure, the representative of the Star Religious Group, was closing an assassination contract with Toji Fushiguro, a former member of the Zenin clan. After closing the deal, instead of taking action to capture Riko, he posted a bounty for Riko on the only curse user website with a price equal to the deposit of the Star Religious Group and then relaxed to wait for the results. Back to Riko's situation, after waking up and finding herself being carried by Gojo, she immediately slapped him in the face, thinking that these boys had bad intentions. Geto tried to calm her down but was also mocked by her for his hairstyle. Enraged by being ridiculed, Gojo and Geto decided to teach Riko a lesson. Then Kurwa, Riko's maid, arrived and explained everything. Then they finally let her go. After a while of talking, Gojo realized that this girl seemed to be a MU fan, even though she was about to be assimilated and was still so optimistic. Suddenly, everyone realized that Riko's school time was coming up and they had to hurry. Riko's wandering around made Gojo uncomfortable. He called Yaga-sensei and suggested sending Riko to Jujutsu High School for easy management. Yaga-sensei didn't explain much, he just told the two students to follow all of Riko's requests. In contrast to Gojo's impatient attitude, Geto had a more understanding view. Anyway, after being assimilated, Riko will disappear anyway, so let's let her live freely. Suddenly, Geto sensed danger. The two cursed spirits he sent had been exorcised, so he quickly told Gojo and Kurwa to go find Riko while he went to deal with the strangers. After a while of searching, Geto found the first guy. He was a curse user who specialized in using Shikigami. Immediately, Geto summoned a cursed spirit and prepared to fight him. Seeing the opponent activate his curse technique, he immediately recognized that Geto used cursed spirit manipulation. This skill is powerful, but he looked down on it in the hands of a brat. As he had predicted, Geto summoned a curse and launched a one-turn kill attack. Geto was even so confident that he had won that he turned around without a second thought to defend himself. This was an opportunity for his opponent to strike and kill him. But before he could act, he suddenly saw memories flooding into his mind. It wasn't until Geto punched him without missing a beat that he realized he had been tricked. In another development, Gojo, after using his beauty to charm both students and teachers, managed to carry Riko out by hand. However, they were noticed by the curse user. Kurwa discovered him and used her ultimate technique to defeat him. Geto also arrived and subdued him, reporting to Gojo about the new assassination attempt he had just investigated. The information Geto provided inadvertently helped the curse user verify Riko's information. However, he was just a clone and was discharged after completing his task. Meanwhile, Gojo was facing the other clones of the curse user, thinking that with the overwhelming number, he would be able to do something, but there was no way. With just a few basic moves, Gojo had cleared out the clones. At the same time, he found the main body through the 6 eyes, practicing the reverse curse technique and having someone to experiment on. As expected, Gojo was too overwhelming. And he then threw a punch to defeat him. Just as they had won the battle, another crisis struck. Kurwa had been kidnapped. Given the current situation, the enemy side would definitely demand a hostage exchange from the sorcerers in order to steal the star plasma vessels. However, since they had Riko in their hands, they could take the initiative. Once they knew the location of the exchange, Gojo and Geto would go to the beach and have fun. Everything went too smoothly, making Gojo a little hesitant. He didn't understand what the star religious group was planning. Kurwa thought that they might take us. Gojo still thought he was fine, and if anything happened to him, Geto would still be there. Throughout that day, Riko experienced new things that she would never have a second chance to do. All good things must come to an end. Gojo not significant. He told Geto to quickly take Riko away while he took care of things here. After a while, Geto's group arrived at complete, but Riko can also choose to return to Kuro. In Yaga-sensei's mission briefing, he used the word deletion instead of assimilation. It can be understood that sensei was implying that the two students should do something for this girl. Before meeting Riko, both Gojo and Geto agreed that if the star plasma vessels refused to assimilate, they would not hesitate to confront Tengen. The decision now lies with Riko. Gojo's limitless because he used a special grade cursed object called the Chain of 1,000 Miles that forcibly nullified curse techniques. Gojo Satoru was killed. Hearing the news of his friend's death, Geto immediately saw the rainbow dragon charged forward, biting Toji and dragging him down. Geto thought it was over, but Toji didn't even have a scratch. Getting here wasn't a big deal for him. This place was a hidden barrier. All he needed to do was find the door to get in. The sorcerers were also very busy right now. He also sent the flies to distract them, so he didn't have to worry about the Jujutsu High students getting in his way. Toji didn't have any cursed energy, so he could be considered invisible. The only problem was the cursed spirit he was carrying with him. For an invisible person, so are their internal organs, so Toji swallowed the cursed spirit into his stomach. And so he successfully entered inside, but Geto had clearly erased all traces of cursed energy, so how did he find it so quickly? This is even easier to explain because Toji also possesses 5 hypersensitive senses. No matter how careful Geto's group is, Toji can track their movements based on footprints and scent. To conclude the conversation, Geto asked Toji about Kurwa. He only gave a vague answer about the fate of the maid. Filled with anger, Geto immediately activated his cursed technique and summoned his strongest cursed spirits to put pressure on his opponent. But Toji was too fast, causing all of his attacks to miss. Not only that, he was also very strong, as he was able to purify the rainbow dragon with a single slash, the cursed spirit with the highest defense that Geto had. Toji then fell into a barrier created by the imaginary vengeful spirit. To escape, he had to answer the question that lovers often ask each other, "Do you love me?" In a rough but honest style. Toji replied that it was not his style. As a result, he was put in a tight spot. but that was not enough to trouble the assassin. He easily broke the barrier with his cursed tool. Seizing the moment, Geto activated his cursed technique to forcibly take over Toji's cursed spirit. But he was a step too slow. Not only did Toji block Geto's skill, but he also took advantage of the opening and gave him a diagonal slash across the chest. The battle ended, and Toji won completely. The sorcerers who were considered outstanding were ultimately defeated by a powerless monkey. What a comedic turn of events. Later, at the headquarters of the Star Religious Group, Toji arrived to hand over Riko's body and collect the agreed-upon reward. Just as he stepped outside, a familiar figure had been waiting for him. Gojo Satoru was still alive. In the near-death moment, Gojo saw the core of the cursed energy. From there, he activated the reverse curse technique and saved his life. Toji had missed the opportunity to completely eliminate Gojo, so now he had to pay the price. The second battle between the two monsters began. Toji used Chain of 1,000 Miles to launch consecutive slashes at Gojo, but all of them missed. Not only that, the assassin was also counterattacked by Gojo with the reverse curse technique, sending him flying far away. It was painful, but for Toji, those blows were nothing. He stood up, warmed up, and analyzed Gojo's limitless curse technique before attaching the cursed tool to the chain and starting to attack from a distance. In his fury, none of Toji's attacks could reach Gojo. He had now reached a realm that very few in the clan had ever reached. During the intense battle, Gojo created a new curse technique, an advanced technique that collides with the lapse and reversal of the limitless, resulting in an imaginary mass that is launched at Toji. The attack with a rotten purple light flew everything, leaving a large and deep hole in the wall and Toji's body. In his dying moments, the cold-blooded assassin suddenly thought of his family and his son. He told Gojo that in 2 to 3 years, his son would be sold to the Zenin family. He left the child's fate to Gojo. When he arrived at the headquarters of the Star Religious Group, Geto saw Gojo. In his hands was Riko's body, surrounded by a group of cultists clapping with smiles on their faces. Gojo's eyes showed clear signs of confusion, and he asked his friend if he should kill all these people. Geto simply said that it was not necessary, as they were just ordinary followers. While he tried to convince Gojo, Geto was actually feeling like a storm inside. He still put the responsibility of a sorcerer above his own extreme anger. After a period of training, Gojo finally succeeded in mastering the reverse curse technique and was now aiming for domain expansion. With his current strength, Gojo could now complete his missions on his own. Shoko retired to the background and appeared less frequently. The more Geto acted independently, the more he exorcised, absorbed, and exorcised again. The taste of the cursed spirits that Geto had to swallow was like a rag wiping up vomit. The process repeated itself, just like the way that Day's image haunted Geto. He had to convince himself that as a sorcerer, his mission was to save people, but there still seemed to be something bothering him. Especially in front of those stinking monkeys out there. Once, while resting, Geto met Hibara, a cheerful and energetic junior. He even told Geto about his upcoming business trip and the joy of being able to do what he could. While the two brothers were talking, Yuki Tsukumo, a special grade, passed by. After Hibara left, she told Geto about her plan to build a world where everyone is a sorcerer, to move towards a society without curses. Upon hearing Yuki's words, Geto suddenly wondered why they didn't just wipe out all the non-sorcerers instead. It wasn't a bad idea. It would force humans to evolve, but it was also too crazy. This bluntness from Geto stemmed from his growing thoughts. He used to think that sorcerers were born to protect non-sorcerers. However, the value of those who needed to be protected was gradually being shaken. Geto was losing his way. He didn't know what his true meaning was anymore. Yuki simply advised her junior to calm down and take his time to choose his path. As she said goodbye, Yuki told Geto not to worry too much about the star plasma vessels. Someone else, or something else, would be born to replace them. In the end, Riko was just a temporary vessel. Her fate was no different from that of sorcerers like them. Hibara had sacrificed himself while on a mission with Nanami. They had been assigned a grade 1 mission, a mission beyond their reach. Geto advised Nanami to take a break and let Gojo handle the rest. If Gojo could handle everything on his own, then why did two newbies have to go? Hibara was no different from Riko. In the end, Geto's jujutsu path might only be filled with blood and the bodies of his comrades. Geto's will was like a candle in the wind. It only needed one more push to go out, and now it had truly extinguished itself when Geto witnessed the two children being accused of being monsters by the villagers. He single-handedly wiped out 112 people in that village. Geto had officially fallen. After reviewing the case, the leadership sentenced him to death as a curse user. When Gojo heard the news from Master Yaga, he couldn't believe how someone like Geto could turn so dark. Meanwhile, Geto went to see Shoko and told her about his upcoming plans. Shoko wasn't too surprised. She even called Gojo to their place. The two best friends now faced each other on opposite sides. Gojo kept asking Geto for the reason behind his transformation. Geto simply said that the reason Gojo thought his decision was stupid was because Gojo was the strongest. Ignoring his friend's advice, Geto remained determined to follow the path he had chosen. Gojo couldn't bring himself to strike down his friend's retreating figure. He had lost this battle. White hair may be powerful, but he couldn't save those who didn't want to be saved. Geto then assumed the position of high priest of the Star religious group, and anyone who showed opposition met a bloody end at his hands. Sometime later, Gojo went to find Megumi Fushiguro, Toji's son, to ask if he would like to come to the Zenin family. Megumi didn't mind, as long as there was happiness for his sister there. The Zenin family would not give him that, so Megumi decided to follow Gojo. Before leaving, Gojo advised Megumi to be strong. Strong enough to surpass even him, the one who stood at the pinnacle of power. On October 19, 2018, three young people, Yuji, Megumi, and Nobara, were waking up their teacher. Those children were Gojo Satoru's hope. Goodbye and see you again.